everyone, this is Legion of Guile again. And as promised, here is episode 2 of Legends of the Dark Knight. And today we're going to be talking about reviewing Batman Dark Victory. So, Dark Victory. This episode is probably going to be a bit shorter because a lot of the stuff, in particular the art, is pretty much the same as Long Halloween because it's done by the same creative team. It's a direct sequel to Long Halloween. Essentially Dark Victory is it's another limited series that they did in like the late 90s. This was from 99 to the year 2000. Basically it's Batman year 3 and 4. So it just talks about how after he solves like the holiday killings in Batman Long Halloween, like the remnants of a crime family are trying to rebuild, or like just trying to live a normal life, and like the remaining characters who are still alive from the Falcone family in particular, because the Maronis are pretty much gone. How they're trying to integrate, how they're trying to cope, and like the stuff they're trying to do, like the businesses they run and stuff. And also it wraps up some of the plot points, especially a lot of the Two-Face stuff, which was a major plot point inside Long Halloween, and it also creates a couple of like there's one main plot point which comes out from this story, which leads on to the third and final part of this entire arc. So basically, the characters remain the same. You have the remaining Falcones. I'm not going to spoil who they are. Gordon's still around, Two-Face, Batman. There's a couple more police officers in this one. If I had to say the difference between this and Long Halloween is that there's a lot more police action in this one. Long Halloween was a very detective police procedural type of story, except it focused a lot from Batman's point of view. Here it has a lot of like Gordon interacting with the rest of the police, and in particular with some of the new characters who are on the scene of Gotham. So after the events of Long Halloween, Harvey Dent is or Two-Face now is on the run. He's gone full supervillain. A lot more supervillains and a lot more prominent now, like Joker and Scarecrow in particular. And there's a new killer called Hangman. So Hangman has been revealed to be like a new killer, but it's also a very gimmicky killing style, similar to how Holiday is. In particular, Hangman has been targeting a lot of police officers, a lot of detectives and stuff. A lot of corrupt police officers, and so everyone clearly thinks it's still Two-Face on the run and stuff, trying to execute his kind of like warped sense of justice, because like he's gone a bit crazy now, and he's trying, and like since he was a DA, he could never do any of this stuff because it was like illegal, and like it was so hard because like the police and the justice system in Gotham was just so corrupt, so he could never actually make an impact. So eventually there's a lot of different storylines that go on as similar to Long Halloween. You have the main Hangman storyline, and then you also have a subplot between Bruce, Selina, and Batman Catwoman. I'm pretty sure at this point Catwoman doesn't know that Batman is Bruce Wayne, so you still have that like Selina trying to keep a relationship with Bruce or vice versa, and like Batman and Catwoman still like running into each other like in the night. So here, some stuff happens between Bruce and Selina that eventually leads into the events of Catwoman Where in Rome, which is like the culmination of, or more like a sort of spin-off or part 3 or part 2.5, if you will, which is sort of like a side story dealing with Catwoman and her relationship to the Falcones after the fallout of Long Halloween and halfway through Dark Victory until she leaves for Italy, because she leaves for Rome. And aside from that, there is also Gordon trying to convince like the new DA to trust Batman and stuff, because like he's a vigilante, and like law enforcement doesn't take very kindly to people like him. So these are the two main plot points, and there's a lot more investigating, and also there's a lot more like dialogue and also a lot more action compared to Long Halloween, which seems really weird. Now I'm saying that this is a lot more of everything. By a lot more dialogue, I mean there's a lot more like chunks of dialogue between characters than in Long Halloween, and lot more big scale action. Not a lot of in Long Halloween, it was a lot more like close combat fighting, a lot of like fights spread out throughout the stories. Here it's a bit more like big scale. There's multiple explosions. It's a lot more. It's a lot more superhero-y, as we know it. This one is also important as because as Long Halloween was the origin story of Harvey Dent and Two-Face, Dark Victory is also the origin story or a retelling of the origin story of Dick Grayson as Robin. So one of the side stories is Batman investigating the death of the Flying Graysons. And then eventually, and this is not a spoiler because Robin is literally on the cover of the trade paperback, he eventually takes in Dick Grayson, like teaching him like detective stuff, like skills of deduction, and eventually he becomes Robin. And there's like a very cool scene where it's like the first time he dons his costume, and like Batman's asking him why he chose like a yellow cape, and Robin's telling him like because it was like the colors of like the Flying Graysons, his father's colors, so he wanted to honor them that way, which was pretty cool. And now, so like a lot of the characters remain the same. It's just a lot more policemen. In terms of the actual supervillains, it's still the main supervillains, Two-Face and Catwoman from Long Halloween, and Joker and Scarecrow have a couple more like speaking roles. Riddler's still in this, Calendar Man in some lower capacity, and some members of the Falcone crime family. Also, the artwork is still very, very good. I like this one a lot more because like like the scenes of the hangings, like because I really enjoyed a lot of the scenes that Tim Sale did of the murders in Long Halloween, how he chose to use color and stuff. Here in the hangings, it's very similar. It's not as like stylistic or like as striking as say like the bathtub murder from Long Halloween, but it is still very distinct, very stylistic. Again, same classic Tim Sale. A lot of washes and solid colors being used, lots of inks, as Tim Sale likes to do, and yeah, that's about it. Also, there's just like it's always interesting to see these sort of stories because it's like a really interesting new story like at the time, but it also incorporates like a lot of the Batman origin mythos, like the retelling of the origin of Robin and stuff, while keeping it fresh with this like really interesting legal drama, I guess you could say, like detective mystery legal drama of like Two-Face trying to like exact justice, and like there's some really like almost like humorous points when like Two-Face is like setting up his new legal office in like the Gotham underworld. Like it's pretty humorous, I must say. Overall, I would say that Long Halloween is better than Dark Victory because the way it was paced was just so well done, but I still highly recommend Dark Victory to anyone out there. The art is still just as phenomenal as it was in Long Halloween. Robin being introduced is very cool. A lot more Catwoman in here, and then of course later on in When in Rome, which will be third episode of Legends of the Dark Knight, which I'm going to review because it'll be the final ending to this Elseworlds, I guess you call it, this standalone storyline. So it's going to be very cool. And on a small note, channel update, I have decided to do monthly haul videos, like fortnightly ones, because like I'm not really buying anything, so probably just gonna do monthly ones. So it'll be like the two Batmans, and then like whatever else I find. I've already picked up some like older stuff which I found was pretty cool. I'm still trying to find stuff online, but like, either shipping's really bad or like the people selling it are trying to like scam people. Like they want $20 for some like free comic book day, like freebies that you could have gotten on at free comic book day. So yeah, that's the way it goes. Thank you guys for listening, and until next time, this has been Legion of Guile.